Let's take a look at the part we are going to recreate before starting the edit.
This is also a story about how PayPal faced fraudsters, gave away free money, nearly went bankrupt, and on multiple occasions hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.
This section was taken out from this YouTube video, which has over 1.3 million views on the channel. So let's get started. Okay, first of all, we'll create a composition. From here, let it be 1080 by 1920. Frame rate can be 24 FPS. Let's just rename it as main. Click on OK. I'll just add the reference at the top so that we can take a look at it while editing. Okay, the composition is not correct. Let me change the composition settings from here. 1920 by 1080. Also, yeah, the duration of the composition needs to be more. Let's give it 15 seconds. If we take a look at it, it's still here. So we can just trim it down, right click and trim, come to work area. So this is our reference. Let's just hide it because we know what to create in the first sequence. We'll have this face with a little bit of particle and the logo, PayPal logo, revealing in a ink transition kind of a way. Yeah. So let's just hide this and start creating the first scene. I have already created these images from AI. So this is the image I created from AI, and this is what I've extracted in Photoshop. So this is our first image. We're going to drag it to our project, drag it to the composition, and just place it properly with the scale and the position keyframes. Not the keyframes, but yeah, scale and the position. You can take help of the reference to see the positioning. So it's like quite zoomed in. Maybe we can zoom in a bit more, like this. Also, let me increase the resolution here. Yeah. Now you'll see that there is a PayPal logo on top of the face. So I'll add this logo. Let me just rename all the files. And I'll add it on top like this. Increase the scale, change the positioning maybe. So if you look at the reference, you can see the face through the logo. So you have to decrease the opacity as well. So bring out the opacity, decrease it a bit, maybe 50 is fine. And so you will see some kind of a glow in the logo. So we can add that glow using a normal glow, but I like to use this deep glow. Yeah, this deep glow is much better for glows, this deep glow plugin. So I like to use this. Let's decrease the exposure a bit, maybe. Radius also a little bit. 350. Also, let's try and change the blend mode of this logo to something else, like lighten or maybe add. Yeah. So if we change it to add, you can see that the brightness of the logo gets reflected onto the background image as well. So I think this looks much better. And maybe decrease the opacity a bit. Yeah. I'm quite happy with this, what it turned out. Now you'll see we need to create this animation of this thing slightly revealing itself, like this ink transition. Yeah, I've downloaded this ink transition from the internet. Let's add this. Yeah, something like this. Let's hide the reference, and this is the ink transition. Let's place it at the top, and in the track match section, we'll change the track match to ink transition. And since it is set to alpha, we need to select the we need to change it to Luma matte, and yeah, we have to change this thing to inverted. Now you'll see that the transition is revealing the logo, but yeah, it's being a bit too slow. So for that, we can let's see where the transition is. The reference still here, right? So we can right click, enable time remapping, and add a keyframe here maybe. Yeah, add a keyframe for the time remapping here, and we're gonna bring the end towards here so that it like the speed increases of this transition. Also, you want this transition to start a bit late, so we'll have the start point and towards the end a bit. So yeah, this transition looks quite good. Now what's left in the reference? Let's see. Now we need to add this kind of particles. Okay, let me, I have downloaded some particles. This is one. This is another one. Okay, for this, let's just try to add this one. So if we add it below, yeah, we're starting a bit late, the particle thing, so we'll just drag it in a bit so that it starts from the beginning. Also maybe decrease the opacity a bit. Yeah, this much seems fine. Okay, now if you look at the reference, there is some kind of a blue tint over everything. You'll see that everything is covered by a blue tint. So for that, what we can do is we can create a solid. Keep it the color is blue. This blue is fine. Click on OK. OK. Yeah, this blue. Let's try to change the normal mode, like the blend mode, to something else. Soft light. I think the opacity is a bit too much. Let me try and decrease the opacity first. And now let me change the mode to, yeah, I think we don't want to cover the PayPal logo with the blue solid. So let me just drag it below the PayPal logo. And maybe let me change the tone of the blue color. I don't like this too much dark tone. So for that, like if you just click on the solid, press Ctrl Shift Y, it will bring out the settings, and yeah, this tone is much better. Yeah, something like the dark bluish tone. Yeah, this is better. You can play around with the color tone a bit to find what you like. Yeah, this looks better. Now for the rotation animation that happens in the reference, turn on the reference and see there is a rotation animation that happens like this. So yeah, it happens till here. So we can do that easily. Let me just pre-compose everything first. Rename it as 1, and the first, let's end the scene here. The first scene ends here. Now we can open the scale and the rotation of the pre-composition. It was rotating clockwise, right? Yeah, it was rotating clockwise. So we can change it maybe like 5 degree or 6 degree and increase the scale a bit. Add some keyframes, go to the end and make it 0. Yeah, we can decrease the rotation value a bit, and along with it the scale value as well. This looks pretty much done. Now let's take a look at the second scene. So from the first scene to the second scene, there is a transition, a blur and a exposure transition. So we'll do it at the end. Let's just create the scene first. The second scene is not that long, but it has some clouds here, text, the logo, and some money flying. Okay, let us create the clouds first. So to create the clouds, I have taken help of this tutorial from Michael Turney. You can check this out, or I'll just show the process here also, so you can follow along. And by the way, if you want the project file, I will upload it in the members section on my YouTube channel. You can join the members section for only 59 rupees. I could have uploaded it for free, but the AdSense earnings are very bad. So in order to make it worthwhile for me to continue making these tutorials, I can't just rely on the AdSense earnings. Yeah, and if you don't want to buy it, I'll just link all the assets for free. You can just follow along for free anyways. So let's create the cloud now. For that, we'll have to create a new solid. Select the color as white for this one. Click on OK. Let's place it below the reference and we'll start it from here. Select this ellipse tool. Make this kind of a rounded thing. Select the mask. Open up the mask, increase the feather. Maybe to 100. Maybe a bit more. 200. Now we'll add an effect here. Turbulent displace. And increase the amount to 200, the size to 50. You can add the effect from here also, but I just like to use this plugin, which is much faster. Okay, now we'll right click and add an adjustment layer. Let's place it below the reference. Let's lock the reference here so that it doesn't move. Okay, we'll add the adjustment layer. So let's start it from here only. We'll do the same thing, add the turbulent displace here as well. And change the settings to 50-50, amount 50, size 50, and we'll increase the complexity to 10. Okay, now in order to animate the cloud, we'll select the white solid, hold Alt and press this evolution to bring out the expressions, and type time asterisk 50. This will start the animation. Do the same thing with the adjustment layer, hold Alt and time asterisk 50. This will animate the clouds. Now you can move around this white solid, place it into the scene. Let's take a look at the reference. It's in the bottom side. Let's copy the white solid, place it in here. Maybe play with the scale and the opacity as well. I think this looks fine. Let's just pre-compose all the cloud layers and rename it as clouds. It doesn't have to be this long. We'll trim it down till here. And then the next thing is we have to add the logo. You have the logo here, so you just have to add this. Let's look at the size. The size can be decreased, increased a bit. This much is fine. I have to do the same thing as we did with the previous logo. Decrease the opacity a bit, change the mode to add, and add a deep glow. Maybe we can just copy the deep glow of the first so that the settings are similar. Yeah, this looks fine to me. Now you'll see this text free money. So we'll add the text by using the type tool, FREE and EY. Place it over, maybe increase the scale a bit. Yeah, this looks fine. Also the font used here is Impact. This font looks quite similar to the one of the reference, so I am using this font. You'll see that the font has a bit of a gradient. So for that we can add this thing, gradient ramp, and just move around these points. Click on the text, the gradient ramp, and move the starting and end points a bit to what you like. We need more white than the black, something like this. And to pop it out a bit more, we can add deep glow here as well. If you don't have this plugin, you can just use the normal glow, but yeah, the deep glow looks much better. This looks fine, maybe 100. Yeah, and I'll add a drop shadow as well. Increase the softness. Yeah, this looks good. You'll also see the blue tone here as well. So I'll add the blue tone at the background. Just copy the blue tone from this, Control C to copy, paste it here. I'll place it below the PayPal logo. It's not affecting the cloud as much. I think I'll need to darken the clouds a bit. Let's add levels. Okay, this darkness looks fine. I think I need to add a tint also in the clouds. Black is black. Map white to maybe this or this. Yeah, this is not bad. I'll just try to change the tone a little bit towards the darker side. I'll just select this color and maybe increase the levels a bit. Yeah, I'll just go with this. At the end, you'll see this particles are also there. So I'll add another particle. Change the blend mode to screen. Maybe change the opacity a bit. Or let's try the add. No. Screen is fine. Place it below the text layer. Now let's trim all the layers till here where the second scene will start. Also, one more thing, this money that is flowing from the bottom, we have to add this as well. So for that also I've downloaded a clip. So I'll just add this over everything here. Let's drag it in a bit so that the money starts flowing into the screen. Also, we have to increase the size of this, something like this, and place it over the text layer. Let's change the position. Let's trim this a bit. Yeah, and this looks fine. I'm going to change the color of the money to match the rest of the scene. So we'll add a tint here as well. Match it to these colors in the background. It's a bit too blue. We make it a bit greenish. Maybe decrease the saturation like this. Maybe this looks fine. So let me decrease the brightness. Let me make it a bit darker. Same here. Make it a bit darker. Okay, this looks better. Now let's pre-compose everything. Name it as 2. Just trim it down. Open up the scale. Let's increase the scale here to 110 maybe. And for the animation, we'll end it where the reference ends. End it here. So we'll trim this part down as well and decrease the scale to 100 so that it moves smoothly like this. The zoom out continues till here. The money starts a bit late, So we'll just go inside and drag out this money thing a bit to the left. Yeah, maybe from here. Let's take a look at what we have done till now. The second scene looks a bit brighter compared to the first scene. Yeah, but we can change it later. Let's go to the third scene now. So for the third scene, you'll see same clouds in the background, some particles, this text getting revealed in a similar ink transition kind of a fashion, and this note burning. So let's create the note burning effect first. I downloaded this image from the internet, this $100 bill. Let's just rescale it and position it. Decrease the length of it till here maybe. If you look at the reference, yeah, you can see the size also. So we'll keep it similar size. Position it towards the top of the screen like this. And now we'll create the burn effect onto this image. So in order to create the burn effect, I'm taking help of this tutorial by Smartimba Graphics, but you can just follow along here also. Now pre-compose this note, just name it as note. Make sure to move all the attributes into the new composition. Click on OK. I don't need it to be this long, just drag it down till here where it starts. Now deselect everything and select the rectangle tool. Select like any color for fill, the color doesn't matter. And for the stroke, just select it as none. Click on OK. Now if you double click on the rectangle, it will create a rectangle shape which is the same size as the composition. So I'll decrease the length, drag it above the note. Now select P on the keyboard to bring out the position for the shape layer. Start a keyframe here, drag it till the bottom, maybe here from where you want the animation to start till the bottom of the note, and go a few frames forward where you want the animation to end. Let's look at the reference where the animation ends. Yeah, so around here. Just drag this up maybe till here so that it burns till this part of the note. We'll change the track math of the note to the shape layer that we just animated. It will be in an inverted fashion. So in order to fix this, just click on this, click to invert the matte, and then you'll see that it is dissolving the image properly. You can't see the burn yet because you haven't created it, but yeah, now we can create the burn in this animation. Now we can add the turbulent displacement. No, the turbulent displace into the shape layer. This will give us a wavy look. I would just change the complexity of this to 10 and you'll get kind of a burnt look, and you can play around with the amount and size to get the look that you want. Yeah, for me 30 and 50 looks like a good value, so I'll just go with this. Now just select both these layers, right click and pre-compose. Let's rename it as note vanish. Press OK. Let's just decrease the length of this composition till here from where the sequence starts. Now press Ctrl D after selecting the logo vanish to duplicate it and set the track math of the bottom layer to the node vanish of the top layer, and we'll have to invert it. You won't see anything now, you'll just see some outlines, but if you drag the top layer by 1 or 2 frames to the left, you'll see this kind of a line animating. Let's just shorten it to here, and now since there is a difference of 1 frame between the top and the bottom layer, these lines appear in the gap. Okay, although we want this line for the burn animation, we don't want this outer thin line that comes. So this can be fixed easily using the minimax effect in the bottom layer. So we'll just add the minimax effect, change the operation to minimum, change the channel to alpha and the radius to 1. You can play with the radius value if the line is still there. Now this burn animation is done. Now we're gonna select both of this, right click, pre-compose and name it as note line. Press OK. Let's just drag it down. I like to keep the timeline clean, so I'm just dragging down everything to where the sequence starts. Now go to the project panel and drag this node vanish below the node line. You can't see anything here. Let's just drag this till here only. You can't see anything happening here, but if you add a glow to the node line, you can add the normal glow, but I like the deep glow more. If you add the deep glow, you'll see that the line is glowing and it gives kind of a burnt look. If you just change the color of the glow, you can come to tint, enable the color, and maybe give it the orangish look, a little orange look. Yeah, it gives off that burnt look. Yeah, this is pretty much it till here. Now I'll pre-compose everything again. Right click, pre-compose, and give it the name node burning. Shorten it again till here. Now if you look at the reference, you'll see some text at the back and the background. You can just copy the text from the second sequence. Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Select the type tool to change the text to bankrupt. You have to bring it below the node burning. Bring out the position keyframes to position it properly. Maybe you need to change the position of the node burning as well a bit. Now they're properly centered. Now we need to add the background, the clouds and the background and the particle and all. We can just use the same background that we created for the second sequence. So I'm going to just copy the clouds, the particle, the colors, and paste it here. Bring them below everything. Just rearrange them properly. And we have the background ready as well. Now the last thing, you'll see that the text is, this background text is revealing in a ink transition kind of a fashion. So we're gonna use one of the ink transitions that I have. Just drag it above the text, place it above it here somewhere, and change the track matte of the text to the transition, and you can see it revealing like this. Okay, now we're done with everything. Let's just select everything, right click and pre-compose it as the third sequence. Drag it down, drag it down, drag this down as well. Okay, let's take a look at what we did till now.
This is also a story about how PayPal faced fraudsters, gave away free money, nearly went bankrupt, and on multiple occasions.
Yeah, the text reveal is not pacing properly. We need to slow it down a bit. So for that, I'll enable the time remapping of the transition. And you want the text reveal to start before the scene comes. So we want the text reveal to be done half almost till here, and maybe end it. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this should be fine. Maybe drag it a bit left to the left, so that half of the animation is already done, and then it slowly reveals everything.
Nearly went bankrupt, and
yeah, this is fine. Now we just need to open the scale, and scale in this, the first keyframe to 110. Go to the end of the sequence, scale it down to 100. So at the zoom out that starts from the first sequence continues through to the second and till the third.
This is also a story about how PayPal faced fraudsters, gave away free money, nearly went bankrupt, and on multiple occasions.
Yeah, now we're done with the third scene. For the final scene, there are quite a few things happening. So there's a 3D camera shifting its focus from this person, going back, revealing these two people in 3D space, and the first person falling down, and the PayPal logo at the back with some clouds and particles and stuff. Let's start by placing all the elements on the screen first. Let me hide the reference. So this is the logo. Let me adjust the scale and stuff. Let me look at the reference for the scale. This is fine, I think. Maybe like this. Also, you'll see that we want this color to be white totally. So we'll add something. Let's try with levels. Yeah, if we just increase the blacks, it turns into white. The next thing is this image. So all this image, I will link it in the description. You can download it, and if you want the project file, you can take it from the member section. These images are all created by AI. Maybe something like this. This seems fine, the size. We'll put them in 3D space later. Let's just arrange them on the screen first. This is the next image. Maybe this will work. This. Something like this. Now we need to place the clouds and all the stuff. So we have the clouds already prepared, right? Let's place the clouds here, and we can just drag everything to the length we want, from where the fourth sequence is gonna start. Now all the elements are placed. We need to add them in 3D space now. So to add them in 3D space, we'll have to bring out the 3D mode here. So just press this to bring out. If it's not there, just press this toggle switches and modes and enable the 3D for all these layers. This. So all the layers that are in this scene, I enable the 3D for these things, and then we're gonna add a camera onto the scene. Let it be 50 mm and change the aperture to 1.2 so that we can have some depth of field when we do the animation later. Also, the camera doesn't need to be that long. Here, I'll just bring it below the reference. Now, before animating everything, we need to place them onto the 3D scene. So we'll open the 2 view here so that we can see where in the 3D space all these elements are. This PayPal logo is at the back. It's at the very back. So we'll open the position for this PayPal logo first and increase the Z value, show that it goes to the back. Let's try to keep it as far away from the camera as possible. So this is the camera, this is the top view of the camera. You can change the view to anything. I'd like to keep it top by right clicking here. So switch 3D view and the top. This is the camera. This is the logo. When you select anything, this thing comes. So I've kept the logo at the very back since it's the farthest away from the camera. When you place it too far from the camera, what happens is it looks a bit small. So for that, we can just increase the scale so that we get the size that we want. Yeah, this much seems fine. Now the next thing is this man in the podium. Open up the position, place him towards the back as well. But yeah, he should be in front of the logo. So this is the logo, he should be in front. And just to increase the size, yeah, maybe bring him down a little bit with the position keyframes, something like this. Yeah, next thing is the clouds. Open the position the clouds back in the scene. So the clouds are behind these people shaking their hands, but it should be in front of this person. This much is fine, I think, and we'll increase the scale so that it covers the entire screen. Now I think everything is placed onto the scene properly. Now let's just take a look at the animation once. So it starts from here, zoomed in quite a bit, and then towards this part it ends like around here. So we'll start from here, we'll just reverse the animation so that we have this scene at the end. So open the camera position and stuff, this thing in the camera, transform, and add a keyframe for position. Here, go to the beginning, use the Z value to move the camera closer to the scene at the back. Yeah, when you move it, you'll see that it goes through. Okay, I think it's a bit too zoomed in. Maybe skip it till here. This much seems fine to me. Yeah, now the issue is these people, they are not out of the scene properly. So what we can do is we can just animate it separately, independent of the camera, so that they animate out properly. Let's just look at the camera animation first, if it's fine or not. Yeah, this looks fine, but we just need to move these two guys out of the scene. The end position is fine for them. Just open up the position keyframes for these guys. This is the handshake. Go to the front beginning and just drag them in so that they're out of the scene. Yeah, something like this. Now we'll select the keyframes, press F9 to ease them. Yeah, now if you look at the scene, looks good to me. Okay, let's take a look at this animation once.
On multiple occasions, hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.
Okay, maybe we want this people to come a bit late. So
Hatched a secret.
yeah, when the audio mentions hatch a secret plant, maybe we want it to come from here. We'll have to drag it out a bit more. Now let's see.
On multiple occasions, hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.
Yeah, this is much better. Okay, now we have to add some more elements and some colors. First of all, if we look at the reference, these people are very undersaturated, so like they are very desaturated. So we'll do it. Add a lumetri color. I like to use the lumetri color to desaturate, because if you use the other one, like the texture and all goes away quite a bit. So this, even if you desaturate, the texture is quite there. So I'll just decrease the saturation to 10. Just copy this lumetri color, paste it to the sky at the back as well. Yeah, this works. For the clouds, you want the clouds to be bluish. So I'll just add a tint and change the darks to a bit blue, like the bluish tone. Yeah, something like this. And also if you go here in these clouds, we have added levels to decrease the darkness of the clouds. So I'm gonna add it, just copy it here also. This from here to here, the colors are, yeah, matching almost. Now if you look at the reference, you see some texture at the back of the logo as well. So we'll have to add that. You can just copy this cloud. It's lagging a bit. I think we've done a lot in this sequence, and I'm keeping the resolution full. Let's just go to one view. Okay, so Control D to copy, and then we'll position it a bit, maybe here, something like this. Maybe I'll go inside this. Okay, it fucks up the other one as well. Since this is the same sequence, both of them, I can't change it inside. So I'll think of something. Okay, I'll just use an ellipse tool, mask this out, this part, and maybe we can increase the feather a bit. Maybe something like this. It doesn't have to be that clean. I just want some texture behind the logo, and maybe decrease the feather a bit. Does this work? Yeah, it should. Okay, let's open the 2 view and place this in 3D space behind the, let's say, clouds too. Place this in 3D space behind the logo. Place it here, open up position, then place it behind the logo here. And we can increase the scale a bit and adjust the position more. Okay, now it looks fine. We'll also add some particles in this scene, at least 2 layers of particles. Let's go to the project. We can use this same particle that we use here. So just copy this, paste it here. So one will place it at the front, so in front of everything we'll place it one. So let's enable the 3D for this and open up the position, place it in front of everything around here, and I'll just copy and place it, the second one, in between these 2 layers, so in between the podium and this handshake. So open up the position. When you are doing the 3D, the layering here doesn't matter that much where you place which stuff, but I just have that habit. So this is the man in podium and this is the handshake people. This is the man in podium. So this particle, yeah, it's fine if it's somewhere in the middle. And maybe change this timing a bit. Okay, let's take a look at it again.
On multiple occasions, hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.
Maybe the particles at the front are a bit too much, so I'll just decrease the opacity of them a little bit more. 35 should be fine. Yeah, the animation is pretty much done. What else is left? We need to add some glow in the logo, and just animate the back, this thing falling. For the logo, we can just add a deep glow. We don't need the 2 view now, so just hide it. Adjust the settings. This one is fine. Now we'll need to animate this guy falling.
Secret plot to overthrow.
Okay, let's start it from here. So this is the guy in the podium. Let's open up the rotation. If you do the Z rotation, you will see that this, like, you see the falling animation, but the falling is not happening, like the anchor point is in the center of his body, so it's rotating from the center. So to fix that, first of all, we need to set the anchor point using this tool, pan behind anchor point tool, to the leg around here. I just not, for some reason it's not working. Okay, I think we have to, yeah, put it here. Now if we do the rotation, it should work. So we'll start the animation from here, add a keyframe here at 0, and then towards the end you can just decrease it like this so that it falls properly. Now select the keyframe and easy ease for a smooth animation. Now the animation should be done. Let's take a look at it once.
On multiple occasions, hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.
Yeah, looks pretty much done. Let's just pre-compose everything of the 4th sequence. So these are all the stuff. Let's just select, right click, pre-compose. Let's rename it as 4. Press OK. Let's just stream it down till here, so where the sequence starts. The only thing left is to do is add some spice into the scene. By spice I mean, if you just look at the camera moving, there is a little bit of shake in the camera, so it adds that along with the sound design and the shake. It makes the scene more dynamic. So now I'll add the camera shake. You go inside. Okay, yeah, before the camera shake, let's do the depth of field thing, which I forgot completely. For that, we'll open this, open the camera options. So depth of field is on. Let's go to the 2 view. If you select the focus distance, see here, we want the focus to be on this person, right? So we'll add a keyframe for the focus distance. Make sure the depth of field is on first, and just move this thing to the place where the person is on the scene. So it will be this one here. So keep the focus distance aligned with this person here. So here you will see that the more focus is on this person. Now as the scene progresses, the camera moves, and around here we want the focus to be onto these 2 people. So yeah, this line should align with this line. So this line is these two people. So now the focus is here. If you want more depth of field, like more blur in the background, you can just increase these pixels. Like 250 should be fine. Yeah, this aperture. Now just select these keyframes, F9, for the smooth transition, like the smooth transition of focus. Okay, this part is done. Now we just need to add some camera shake. Okay, for the camera shake, let's add an adjustment layer first on top of everything. Let's rename it as camera shake. Edit transform effect on this. So we'll add the shake onto this transform effect. Hold Alt and press on this position keyframe, and it will open up this expressions tab where you can add the wiggle, and I've tested it out. 5:3 looked fine to me. Yeah, this 5:3 is fine. Also we can add wiggle to, let's just copy this transform and add wiggle to these two guys shaking their hands as well. Okay, let's go to one view. Yeah, this is a bit too much. So like the movement is a bit too much. So I'll just open this, select the handshake first, open this, open the transform. Okay, not the hair, but the effects transform. Now if you open this position, you'll see the wiggle values. I think it's just to decrease the amplitude. Place this 2 and see it now. Yeah, this thing works. Yeah, this thing works. And let's go to the main sequence. So yeah, all our sequences are done. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth. I just think that the second and the third sequence is a bit too bright compared to the first and the fourth. I like the first and the fourth actually. So I'll just try to increase the darkness of this thing as well a bit. So okay, not this. Let's select this, open up this solid settings by pressing Ctrl Shift Y, and maybe decrease the brightness. 30% is fine, I think. Yeah, same here. Yeah, this is a bit dark now. Same goes for the clouds as well. So yeah, let's just copy this tint to number 3 also. Delete this tint, press it here. Maybe yeah, I like this darker tone a bit more than the brighter one. Now we just need to add the transition between the scenes. So if you look at the reference, there is a first transition is like a blur and exposure increase, and then same here, blur and exposure increased, and then this last transition is a zoom out transition. So let's recreate them. Just add an adjustment layer in the main scene. Just decrease this size. We don't need it for too many frames. Maybe like 3 frames or 4 frames here. 3 frames here. And here we'll add a blur first. Gaussian blur works. Add keyframes to increase the blurriness. Go here, press U, it will bring up the keyframe. Increase the blurriness, maybe 50, maybe a bit more. Go to the beginning, decrease the blurriness to 0. Same here, go to the end, decrease it to 0. Now if you just easy ease them, you'll get the blur. Now we'll get the exposure. For the exposure, you can just add this thing, add the keyframe, same. Press U to bring out the keyframe. Increase the exposure. You can do it from here or the above. It's a bit too much. Here, decrease the exposure to 0. Yeah, 0. Same here, 0. Press F9 to ease them, and you get your normal transition, this one. Now you can just copy this, Ctrl D, and just drag it here for the second one as well. Let's take a look at it once. Just playing the entire thing.
PayPal-faced fraudsters, gave away free money, nearly went bankrupt.
Yeah, this is fine. Maybe a bit faster than the reference, but yeah, it works for this.
Nearly went bankrupt, and
Now we need to do the zoom out transition. For the zoom out transition, we need some more adjustment layers. So the first adjustment layer will be placed here and the zoom out should start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames before the cut, and let's decrease this also till here. We'll add a transform to this. Now I will add keyframes at the beginning of the adjustment layer here, and just open up the keyframes by pressing U and go to the here at the cut and then decrease the scale to 25. So since we want it to zoom out from here to here, that's why we are decreasing it to 25. Right now you'll see that there's a black thing coming up. In order to fix this, you can add an effect called motion tile. Let's increase the tile height. Sorry, not the tile height, the output height. Place it above the transform effect so that it works properly, and let's see if there is enough. Yeah, there is enough. So the output width and height is 350 seems fine, but just you can increase it to 400 just in case, and just click on this mirror edges so that the edges are mirrored. Now you'll see this zoom out thing happening. It's not as smooth, we'll smoothen it later. Using the same concept, we'll add another adjustment layer so that the second part of the transition is also done. So let's rename them first. Right click, new adjustment layer. Let's rename this. Yeah, I'll cut it down till here maybe. Add the transform here as well. Here we'll do the opposite. We'll start it at the keyframe. We'll start it at 400 so that it is zoomed in at the beginning, and then here at the end we'll end it at 100. Open up the keyframes. Open up the keyframes for this also, and just seize them. And just play this part and see if the transition is smooth or not. I know it won't be smooth, but just let's see how bad it is.
And on multiple occasions.
Yeah, it's very bad.
And on multiple.
We can do a couple of things to smoothen it. First, enable the motion blur here, and enable the motion blur for this, all the transitions. Okay, for the first two we don't need because those are not movements, but for these two we need definitely. For the zoom outs we need the motion blur so that
and on multiple occasions
it smoothens out the stuff a bit.
And on multiple.
But you'll see that it's still not smooth. This is because the graphs are not done properly. So let's open the keyframes. Here, open the graphs, select the keyframes and open the graph. You will see that the speed of the motion increases and then decreases right at the cut. So the speed is very slow at the cut. But ideally, whenever there is this kind of a transition, the speed should be maximum during the cut here. And then it should slow down towards the end. So just slow, fast, and then slow. So for that, you can select the keyframes for the first part of the transition, open the graph, and then it should be maximum here, right? So you can just increase the speed like this, maybe, yeah. Or let's do this thing. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is better. Same here, but here this part should be the fastest. So we'll do this thing and this thing. Now let's see.
And on multiple occasions hatched a.
Yeah, looks much smoother, right?
And on multiple occasions hatched a secret plot.
Maybe we can just drag it out to slow it down a bit, the zoom, like the zoom out of the second part.
And on multiple occasions hatched.
This is better. Yeah, we are done with this. I will just render it, and you can get the project file in the member section, or if you just want the assets and follow along, you can get it for free in the description. Let's take a look at the final version before I end the video.
This is also a story about how PayPal faced fraudsters, gave away free money, nearly went bankrupt, and on multiple occasions hatched a secret plot to overthrow their own CEO.